Hello, everyone, and welcome to an afternoon of stamping. My name is Sarah Simon, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Appleton, Wisconsin. And I started my live with that fun introduction video of our new product that I let out of the bag a little bit earlier a couple weeks ago and had to redo my video because of it. So I have known since about March that we were going to be getting this new foiling system, hot foiling system. And I knew we couldn't say anything. And then we went to Alaska and we saw some product with it, and we still couldn't say anything. So a couple of weeks ago, we could order it. And like they were letting everybody know who was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, not just the people who were at these specific events. So I was like, oh, yeah, we can tell people now. And so I let the cat out of the bag, kind of. But many of the people who watch me are Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, so most of them knew. But one person commented and said, "You weren't supposed to tell anyone yet." And I went and looked and I'm like, oh, she's right. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone yet. Oh my goodness. So that's when I quickly edited my video and ended up uh, redoing it a little bit. And now today it went live. You can actually order it already as a customer, not just as a demonstrator. And so after I do my two Christmas cards, which I said I would do Christmas in July this week, hello everyone, I will show you how this little machine works. I had some samples that I had played with, and I could not find them before I went live. So we're going to play with something different. And when I find them, I will hopefully show them to you afterwards. I didn't make any cards yet. I just played with the system itself. My goal is next week to try to make a card with it, but I didn't have all of the supplies early enough for to be able to do put a whole card together to demonstrate for you. So, whew, lots to talk about. Hey, let's go ahead and take a look. I do have my creative challenge as just a reminder that you have to have in by the end of July. And this is the layout for July. And can you believe that it's the 10th of July already? Oh my goodness, time is going to fly by so fast. We have a family wedding at on the 25th of July. And it seems like that's coming so fast. And I have Vacation Bible School the 20th through the 24th. And so it's like, oh my gosh, next week is crunch time. That's our last week to get everything done. Can't believe it already. And so, yeah, it's the summer is just flying by. And I think the older I get, the faster it goes. But how my creative challenge works, if you make a card with this layout and all the dimensions are there with the pictures, you post a picture of it on Facebook. If you are not a Facebook person, I do have where you can email it to me. I just popped my email address up there for you. You can email me a picture and say July Creative Challenge. That way it's easy for me to find. Anyone who enters the challenge gets entered into a drawing to win $30 in Stampin' Rewards, which means you can do your own shopping. And if you are a demonstrator, you can still get your discount. So I used to have people pick something, and then I would either have it shipped to me or I'd have it shipped to them. It just got to be like trying to keep up with everything just got to be crazy. So this is just a little bit easier for me. I just put your email in and I send those rewards to you. So it's kind of a fun thing. Also, we do have our product of the month, Begonia Bell. I just got mine today. Begonia Bell is a beautiful stamp set, which I'm going to try to do a card next week using this. And you can get this for just $5 when you place a $75 order. So this is a really, really, really neat to stamp set, and it's very reasonable. If you're placing a $75 order, you might as well just add an extra $5 on and get this beautiful set. Last month's sold out before the end of the month. So these are while supplies last. They were still available when I looked last, which was probably yesterday. Metallic Magic. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to play with that at the end today. Okay, let me come back to you. I did have a card. Here it is that I had received, and I never shared it with you. This is from Mary Van Domelen. Mary, I think I saw on here. Let me look. Mary, are you on here? Yes, she is on here. Isn't this a beautiful card? I think this is called maybe a double arrow card. I'm not positive what it's called, but it's beautiful. I'll have to take a look at it. Maybe we can do a fold like that. Today, we're not doing any fun folds. We're playing with some new product. And so I don't even have the dimensions written out because all of the dimensions are like a half a sheet of paper folded in half to make your card base and then 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm like, I got back a little bit later from my appointment. I had a doctor's appointment and I thought it's just a quick little check-in. Well, between traffic because of roads being closed and having to wait because I had an afternoon appointment instead of a morning appointment, so they're never really on time. Yeah, let's see. Not crazy about two-step stamping, but for $5, I know. Actually, this two-step one is pretty easy from what I've seen. I just got it. I'm going to play with it, so I'll let you know what I think. Yes, thank you, Donna. I am feeling better. So yesterday, about a little bit before 1 o'clock, I took off. We have Vacation Bible School, like I said, with my job, and there was a parish, a Lutheran parish church in West Bend, which is about an hour and a half from here. And they had some other stuff that they were willing to sell for half price. So I love a deal, right? Why didn't I have them just send it to me? Although some of the stuff was really big, it would have cost a lot to send it to. So I ended up driving down to West Bend and I drove back and I didn't have breakfast or lunch. I was in my car for lunch. I completely forgot to grab breakfast in the morning. I even made some overnight oats, but I forgot to grab them. And so I thought my headache was because I was hungry. So when I got home, I ate those overnight oats. I had a banana. I had to make one of the cards yet. So I started to make the card and my head was just pounding. But I'm like, okay, I'm just going to lay down for a little bit. So I laid down for about a half an hour. I woke up, wasn't any better. Then I was like, well, I'm not going to get that card done. I feel like crap. So I ended up canceling last night. So I apologize for that. And then I took some Tylenol, laid on the couch. I had the TV on with the Brewer game on it, but I was just listening to it because it hurt too bad to watch it. My head was really pounding. I ended up going to bed by like about 9:30, and I woke up early this morning and made the second card and felt great. So I think I just needed some sleep, food, and maybe just a little bit of something to take the edge off. I didn't have any caffeine either, so maybe that was my headache too. I'm not sure. So trying to cut caffeine out, it's hard. I'm a tea person, and I love my bubbler, but I've been trying to cut the bubbler out. So anywho, let's get stamping because I do want to show you the new foiling system that we have that is available now for customers at the end. And it does take about 6 minutes for it to warm up, but I'm going to show you some of the stuff while we're in there. But I figured let's get to stamping right away instead of me talking. So let's see. There we go. I think you can see my table now where I'm going to be stamping. I wanted to just show you, these were our online exclusives. They went live on July 1st. If you've been on vacation for the 4th and you're back, some great deals in here. We're going to be using this little stocking today. There's a little sneak peek. That's the card that I had done. I have done a few cards with some of the product in here. This is the framed violets, I think it's called. And we did this card. These are the leaf. This is the leaf with the punch. It's a bundle along with this checked paper that's in all of the in colors. Last week we did this fun little football card. Hello, everyone that's hopping on. This is a weird time for me to go live, I know. And then we did this fun little wobble card with our scarecrow last week. So this is all product that is in the new online exclusives. And I can open this now. Let me get my thing. So today we're going to be using There's this Swirls of Magic. I know there are some people who do not like Halloween. And I get that. Everybody is a little bit different. I like cute little things, kind of more fallish than it is like spooky Halloween. But I know there are some people that don't like it, but there are some cool things in here, like this black iridescent ribbon is really cool. And the Swirls of Magic, we're going to be using this today in the first card that we're making. That's also a really cool embossing folder. Already have an order arriving when I get home. Oh, yay. Congratulations, Kimberly. That's awesome. Here is the Christmas suite. This is that stocking, that stitch stocking. It's called A Stitched Season is the DSP. We're going to be using that DSP in both of our cards today because we don't have any other really Christmassy DSP out. You could use this for non-Christmas. I'm going to try to make a card next week that's more quilted, that doesn't use the Christmas part of this. This beautiful real red, it's got a stitching in ribbon, and these buttons are so darn cute. They've got like a little bit of glitter on them. And then we have that violet. Okay, and in here we're going to use the shimmering stripes. I haven't used that yet, but I showed you this and I absolutely love it. We're also going to use this scalloped frame and this punch that has the scallop in it. So we're going to combine a couple of these. Here is another Christmas item that I have that I didn't use this time, but I plan to use that in the next coming weeks because I think it's really cute. All right, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but that is where we're going today. So like I said, here is that glimmer paper. Oh, can you, oh, look at that. You can see that glimmer. I know you can. Isn't that cool? I just love this. It's with the violets, but I think it works really well as this is going to be the top of our stocking, kind of like the little, you know, white part on the top, or we're going to make it white. And then this is that paper live so that you can kind of see it. So we've got these quilted triangles. Look at those Christmas trees. So cute. You could cut those out and put those on a card. We've got the little cardinals. And we've got a mixture of things. I think that's it. And then the back, and this is the paper we're using today, is all of these just kind of simple patterns that you can use on cards for Christmas. It's a wonderful pack of paper, and I've just loved playing with it to make these two cards. I'm going to set this stuff aside. I just wanted to show you where that stuff was coming from. All right, let's get stamping. So I have Peaceful Pine. I'm loving this color for Christmas. Peaceful Pine is in that paper. So this is just 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4 to give us our card base. I took an old olive and I ran it through that embossing Swirls of Magic. That's what it looks like. And look at, this is not a 3D one, but look at how raised up that is. It's really pretty. I'm thinking, I'm really hoping that when we get to see, I have some ink, red ink, of course, red always on my hands. I'm hoping that when we get to see the Christmas catalog or the September through December catalog, I'm hoping there's some sort of a nativity or religious stamp set in there so that I can use this. I think that would be so pretty with that. Okay, so that's that. We have an inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. I needed a scrap of white, and I have one right here. Oh, I don't know if it's big enough. If it's not, I'll grab another scrap. Here's the thing. So, oh, no. I don't need a scrap. That's for the next one. I'm like, I thought I threw a scrap of paper in there. So this morning I had to design the second card because I was not feeling it last night with my headache. So I got up at my normal time. Lila didn't get a walk, but we'll hopefully get one after this when we get to the cottage. We're going up to the cottage just for the night. I'm coming back again Saturday night because I have to do something at church on Sunday. But I die cut everything. I stamped and die cut the stuff that I had to stamp and die cut. I put it all in an envelope to be ready to go. And I got here and I could not find the envelope. And I was already running a little bit late. So I'm like, oh my gosh, quickly die cutting. So somewhere in my mess is an envelope of all the die cuts for the next card, but I don't have it right now. Okay, so why would I put these two greens together? Well, one of the papers that we're using is this paper right here that has Peaceful Pine in the background, and that's Old Olive and Real Red on there. So that's why I ended up doing that. Now, with these stocking dies, let's take a look at the dies. So you get, if you haven't purchased them, if you're not a demonstrator and don't have them yet. So I cut out this really big plain stocking with Real Red. Okay. And then there's this one that has all this stitching, and all of these things are like, they're almost all cut. Like this is all cut, but in the corners of each one of them, it's still held together so that you can easily cut them apart to piece different colors or different patterns of paper in there. This right here matches up the top of your stocking so that you can change that to a different color if you want. We have a label punch. We have different squares with different things. So this is cut with the triangles. You've got the tree and the present. And I'll show you some cards that I got in swaps using some of this stuff. We've got where you can cut this row of trees out, or these, I don't know what that is. It's kind of like a star, a ribbon star. I don't know. Snowflake. We have the holly. So yeah, it's really, really cool. There's a lot of stuff in here that you can do with it. So I cut the big one out in Real Red because I thought, well, that looks really nice on there. I got my color combination from this pattern right here. I cut one of these out also in this pattern, and we're going to combine these two patterns to kind of make our quilted stocking, stitch stocking. I have a scrap of white for our sentiment. I think I had a white for the inside. Here's where I took that glimmery paper. Look at that. Can you see that glimmer on there? Probably not as much when it's a small one. We're going to use that for the top. I also cut out that little, I don't know, is it a snowflake, a star, whatever you want to call it. There we go. And then I also did cut out, come on, where are the leaves? Oh, they're in there yet. There we go. Two of the leaves and one of the clumps of berries. Okay. I'm going to set these aside because we don't need those right now. I don't want to lose them. I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to set this aside for right now. Let's put our stocking together. So there's a couple of different ways that I've seen other people do this. Some people have cut everything apart and then they've cut a third one of these out. And what they did with the third one is they ended up building everything on that. I found it was a little bit easier to use, if I'm using two patterns, that's what I'm using here is two patterns, to build one of them on the other one and cut only one of them apart and keep the other one together and put everything on top. I wanted, see this little star that's back here? I wanted that to be in the red color. And that's the hardest thing to punch out, in my opinion, and then keep it straight to put back on the card, on like if you had like a white piece that you were building it on. So I'm going to put everything else on top. I'm going to cut the pieces I want out of here and replace those parts with what I'm cutting off of this one. You'll see what I'm talking about once I get started here. So I'm going to take a little snips and you can kind of see. So these are all apart and they're just held together kind of by this little piece that's in the center. So I'm just going to take my snips in here and I'm going to snip that little piece in the center. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to snip that little piece in the center. Super easy to do. Snip that one. And I'm going to snip that one. Oh, actually, I didn't even need to do that. What am I thinking? I need to snip down here. That's why I did that. I'm going to put this over the top of that. Okay, so I'm going to put that green one right over the top and keep that star out. I didn't even do that the right way. Now, what I want to do is I want this little middle piece. So if I put my thing in here, it's just the little corners. So I'm just going to go ahead and snip those little corners to get this little square piece. Got one more. You could almost rip them, pull them apart, but I'm afraid I'm going to tear it. So I'm going to put that back in the middle. Isn't that looking cool already? All right. I thought so. I think this is kind of a fun stamp set, personally. I was like, oh my gosh, I love these dies. All right. I'm going to use this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead and snip that out right there. And I'm going to snip this little end out right here. And then I'm going to snip the little center piece out. All right, so I'm going to put that right in there. And then I thought it would be fun, now these aren't glued down yet, to just kind of go kitty corner from that one. So I cut that piece out. So I'm going to cut this little piece out right here. So the heel is going to stay red, and I'm not going to put the holly in the heel. But I'm going to snip that, and I'm going to come down here and snip that, and snip that little piece. All right, so that's going to go down there. Look at how easy that is. And then I'm going to take the little toe part, kind of just going kitty corner with each of the pieces that I have. Okay, so now I'm going to glue all of those pieces down on there, and I'll have the little pattern. I didn't have to cut this piece apart. I could build it off of that. If you wanted to, you could cut a red one out that was like this, and you could cut all these pieces apart and build it on that red one and then put it on here, but I thought this was just as easy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. I could save this for another card if I want. I really didn't demolish it too bad. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue around the outside. Even that side's really cool. I saw somebody cut the whole stocking out with that, with those squares, and it looked really cool. They didn't, put different paper. They just used that same paper for everything. All right, we'll put this in here. Just pieces right back in there, so it's so easy to do. Now, would I make 100 of these? Probably not. Gonna be honest with you, it's not hard, but it's a bit time consuming. It would be die cutting a lot of stockings and cutting them apart and piecing them. Now, if you had a whole bunch of people to help you and it was an assembly line and everybody kind of did their little fair share, it wouldn't be so bad. But if I had to do 100 of these all by myself, I would not do it. It is a little bit putsy. Okay, but right there's our stocking. Now, this little piece that I had right here, we're going to put right going to kind of slide it into how did I have that? I gotta look at my sample. Oh, it went like this. It went like this. I went right into these little pointed pieces on the top and the bottom and the sides. I just wanted to bring that white that was going to be in the top of my stocking down there. And then there's going to be white for my greeting down here. All right, we are going to glue that right onto that bigger stocking. Super easy. Go there. And then I'm going to take this little white piece, and that's going to be the top of our stocking. Now, if you wanted to, you could raise that up on dimensionals. I just put it down regular. Cute, right? Now, before I put this onto the front of my card, I thought it would be cute to make it look like there's a little loop here that is the stocking is going to be hanging, they're going to hang it from. So I'm going to take some of that real red stitched ribbon. I'm just going to cut off a really little piece, and I'm going to make that little loop that you would have for hanging it. I'm going to stick that back here, and I'm just going to take some of our tear and tape because it's really easy for me to just rip it off and make sure I don't have the tape hanging off the edge here. Cut a little bit too big of a piece. There we go. Okay, so that looks like my little hangy piece for it. And then we're just going to put this down. On here. We'll grab some dimensionals and raise this up a little bit. Wasn't sure if I got one of those off or not. I had to double check it. I'm not good with my take your pick tool and pulling those off. I don't even know if I have a take your pick tool sitting here right now. Oh, sad. All right, so that's just going to go on there. Isn't that pretty? Like that green just pulls the different green out of there. All right, we've got to stamp this. We're going to do a greeting. We got to add these little babies to it. And my buttons, we're going to add some of those as well. Let me put the ribbon away here. Okay, so on here, get rid of the stamps and the dies, put them over where they're supposed to be put away. I'm going to take a piece of tape. Oh, geez, I must be almost out of tape there. This says Merry Christmas to you and yours, and I just want the Merry Christmas. Now, I could just try to get it on there, but this D that's in the middle comes up kind of high. And when I tried to do it before, I kept getting it. So I'm making sure that this goes right up to the Christmas. I'm going to take some real red ink. And I'll probably get some on my hand because I always do. I'm going to ink that up. Oh, remember to pull off the tape. This is probably where I ended up getting ink on my finger too. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. I'm going to leave that open because we got more to do. And I'm just going to cut this on an angle. Easy peasy. That's just going to go here. Okay, we're just going to put that kind of off the stocking and on the stocking a little bit. And we're going to take our little holly and holly berries, and we're going to just set that right in that little opening there. Thought that would look cute. And then on the inside, we'll go ahead and stamp a greeting. So I've got sending warm wishes this Christmas. It's hard to think of Christmas when it's as hot as it is. It's only going to get hotter here. We're supposed to be, I think, in triple digits next week again. And then I wanted to bring on a little bit of the Peaceful Pine because remember our card base is Peaceful Pine. So I'm just going to take one of these corner stamps. I think I'm just going to do it in the bottom. I don't think I'm going to do it on the top as well. We'll go ahead and close that. And we'll go ahead and add this to the inside of our card. I had some really fun ideas that I wanted to do with this, and I started to work on, and it wasn't completely coming together. But I'm going to show you where I started with it, and I think I'm going to continue to work on it because I think what I have in my head I can figure out, but I just didn't have enough time because I was doing this yesterday morning. I was making this card before I went to work because I didn't get it done the night before. I just had no energy for some reason, and I needed to spend some time with Lila as well. Okay, so I'm putting a dimensional on one end and glue on the other end because this is raised up. So I got to raise this end up, and this is going to go right on there. Not quite straight. There we go. Now it is. All right, for this, I'm going to take some glue dots. And I'm just going to put a glue dot here, put a glue dot here, kind of in the center of all of those. I'm just going to pull that off. I'm going to put one there. And one there. And then I'm going to put the little berries over the top of it. All right. And there. Oh, I got to put my buttons, the fun buttons. I forgot the buttons. All right. I'm going to use the red ones. I'm going to put one up there where the little loop-de-loop is. And I think I'm going to put one in the center of that little star. Fun. I don't think it needs a third. I know I always do odd numbers, but I just think placement on this, like where would you want a button? Not just for the sake of putting a dimensional, you know what I mean? Like a embellishment, I should say. All right, so there is our first card. So really, I didn't type up dimensions because it's a half a sheet of paper with a 4x5 1/4 and a 4x5 1/4, and then a bunch of other things that we cut out. So that is our first, and I did purposely put it a little bit on a slant. If you like it more straight, you could also do it a little bit straighter. All right, let me show you some other cards that I received in swaps using some of this product. So this card I received from Karen Titus, and she used some of the paper here and cut that out for the front. And this, I think, is actually, I think it's a fun fold. I think it just stands up. I'm not sure. It came like this. Oh, I see. It tucks in here. There we go. Got to be smart enough to figure it out. It tucks right in that little label. Isn't that cute? So that's from Karen Titus. All right. And then I received this from Karen Braxton from Montana. Karen and her sisters I've gotten to know on the last 2 incentive trips. Karen's sisters live here in Appleton. And isn't that beautiful? And this, you see both sides of the paper because of the way she attached that. Gorgeous. And this one, I don't have, sometimes if they don't have a sticker on, then they fall off and they get taken out of the envelope when I take pictures and stuff of them. So I apologize. I don't know who did this one, but isn't that pretty? They just cut the piece of paper apart like that and have some vellum underneath there. And then a little bit of a different paper on the inside. So those are some of my swap cards that I received with that bundle. None of the swaps that I received had the stocking. So that's why I wanted to work with the stocking a little bit. And my first thought was to put this, like to just, instead of having a card that folded, have a card that is flat. And I think I even have one out here somewhere when I was playing. Maybe not. I thought I did. When I was playing, I had just layered some, and my thought was, instead of having it open here, to have it open like that on the stocking. So I was going to have the whole thing open, and then I glued this down and I tried to score it, but I already had this on there. So if you were to do something like this, score where you want to and close it, and then put your white down and make sure it's above that score line. And I thought you could use this as a little tag even. You could put, instead of this, you could end up putting, we could come and take this and put this here. And you could put a little hole there, and you could attach it to the gift and have this be a little tag. There is a to from, so you could put the to from on the inside. And how did I get this so it didn't have all the stuff? I traced it. So I traced the die, the outside of the die, and then I fussy cut it so that I could get it that size. So that was just an idea if you wanted to make it so your card opened. I should say your stocking opened. So I'm going to still continue to play with this a little bit, but that's at least where I started. Oh, it's like, don't tell me these are my things that I just recut. All right, so that is card number 1. Here was my other sample. All right, let's get some of this stuff out of here and move some stuff over to do card number 2. So card number 2, I am using Pretty Poinsettia. Now, I did not get any cards in my swaps with this bundle, and I really haven't seen a whole lot online. So I just kind of had to figure it out myself. I don't know if I did it right or not. If I didn't, I'm sure I'll see somewhere, but I thought the card that I ended up making turned out okay. I was looking for something to put the poinsettia on and the greeting, and I found these framed violets. And so what I did was I saw that we had this, and I'm just going to give you a little piece of learn from my mistakes. So when I pulled this off of here, I was just like kind of being a little rough with it, and I ended up actually tearing it. I can't think where it's torn, but somewhere, I think that is it right there. It's actually, yeah. See how it's torn? And now when I put it in, I have to make sure that I really have it put together. You can kind of see a little bit. You do have to be a little bit gentle. They are a little bit strong on that piece of plastic. So when you're pulling them off, make sure you're gentle so you don't break yours. So we're going to be using that frames along with, I wanted to see what the poinsettia looked like, or poinsettia looked like when it was stamped. And I also wanted to play with these dies. So we're going to do a little bit of both. We're going to stamp on the inside and play with the dies on the outside. All right, so we have Real Red as our card base. Oh, and I can see that I'm missing, even when, see, this is the one that I had everything cut. And then I couldn't find it. Here's some white. So I'll need this white. All right, I'll use that for my scrap. And we'll do 5 1/4. Whoops, not 4. Cut by 4. That will be for inside. And we have some of that same designer paper. I loved this plaid. We're going to do that for the outside. Okay, so this is 4 by 5 1/4 as well. I can use either one of them for my scrap. And that's all that we have for layers. So you see why I didn't feel like I needed to type it up this time? I didn't do any fun folds. I was just doing basic cards, because a lot of times with my Christmas cards, I do a little bit more basic cards than I do things that take a whole lot of time. If it is a fun fold, it's a really easy fun fold and a quick one. And I find that sometimes fun folds don't set, like you can't stand them up. And I like with Christmas cards to be able to have the people stand them up and display them if they would like. So this is real red with that. And there is a die to cut that out. And through the magic of TV, I have that done. So see, I did this morning before I went to work and I had this done. And somewhere sitting in my mess is one of these completely done. All right, on the inside, we are going to look at my sample. I did it this morning. All right, now I remember. We are going to use the greeting Bright Christmas Wishes, and we're going to do that in Peaceful Pine. Easy peasy. Now it is a little bit more to the right, and the reason is I did have in the other envelope that is missing right now. Oh goodness. I had a 4 by 1/2. There we go. I have organizing to do in my stamp room. Oh, I completely forgot to put it up here. Our used stamp sale that we have at Kathy Miller's house is next week, Friday and Saturday mornings. I will be putting some information out on my Facebook page. But there are lots and lots of demonstrators who put their stuff. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now we got to add a little poinsettia on here. So I'm going to use real red. So I will have Kathy's address so that you can find it and have all of that information. So it's from 8 o'clock in the morning until 1, I believe, on Friday, and from 8 o'clock until noon on Saturday. Oh, we've got somebody. Oh, Denise. That's Denise that's on here. She's in Germany right now. She's on the border of Germany and Austria. She is on a river cruise, and she's been gone over a week already. Lucky, lucky girl, right? All right, so there's that. Oh, isn't that pretty? Now, I did put the little inside piece. I'm going to do that in Golden Glow. Okay, so those are just those little dots in there. And then I have the little green. I hope that you're having fun. It sure looks like it from all of your pictures. Was the summer for cruises, I guess. I'm going to put one there. And I'm going to put one there. Okay, so that's going to be the inside of our card. For the outside on this piece that I had stamped and die cut, I'm going to try to get it straight here. I'm just getting the end pieces so that they're both on there. I think that's straight now. I don't know. Okay, maybe that's straighter. I'm going to stamp the Christmas Joy. She gets back Saturday of our stamp sale. Oh gosh. Are you going to be at the stamp sale or do you get back later in the day? Your mom may have to pick some things up for you. All right, so Christmas Joy is what we're going to put on that one. Close these up. Someone's calling me spam risk. Ugh, do you hate those? I hate those. I'm going to put this stuff away right away. It's not in the way. All right, let's go ahead and put this down. right, and we're going to put this on the front. Now I'm thinking this would be really pretty with, like, you could even do it with gold foil. One of the things with the foiling machine that is, I'm going to show you what I saw that I was like, oh shoot, I should have done that. This I'm going to put a little bit to the right because my poinsettia that I'm going to build with the dies is going to be over here. I am going to take just a tad little bit of that ribbon. There is kind of a front side and a back side to this. So I found it easier just to cut two little strips like that. And I'm just going to tape that kind of in the corner. There's the end of my tape. I knew it was getting towards the end. Okay, so that is just going to go down here. And I'm going to put this flat because I want to raise my poinsettia up. Oops, I'm getting out of the camera here. Let's go ahead and glue this down. We go. And then with the dies, I cut. There are two bigger ones, one that has 5 blooms and one that has 4. Then there's a medium-sized one, and then there is a small one. Okay, so I cut one of each size. Now there is a really big, I had it here. There is this really big piece of greenery here, but I thought it was a little bit too big for the card that I was doing. So I just took this one that had 4 little, like, leaves, petals or whatever, and I'm just going to use those as my leaves, and I'm just going to cut them apart. And then I did take the center. It cuts a small one and a big one. I'm just going to use the big one, and that is my Golden Glow. And I did put both of them on there. I put the big one and the small one on there, but I really wanted to put some bling on the center, so it just got lost. So I'm going to leave that. Now, before I put this on, I'm going to take my Wink of Stella, and instead of like just going over it all, I'm going to follow the lines that are in each of these petals. And I know it takes a little bit more time to do it this way, but I liked how that looked as opposed to, I had done it both ways, and I liked how this looked better. So you can kind of, I don't know if you can see that glitter that's in there. And the reason I wanted to add that little bit of glitter, it looks like silvery almost, is we're going to be using some rhinestones on here with it. And I thought that it fit in really well with the rhinestones. All right. And I've got 2 more to do. So I could have had some of this done. I apologize. I wasn't thinking it was going to take me too long. Probably should have turned the foil machine on in between cards, but I figured it was going to take me longer than 6 minutes to do this card. And it only takes about 6 minutes to heat up. So I'm going to show you some of the stuff while it's heating up. Doesn't have to be perfect, but okay. And then on the green one, we're going to take our Peaceful Pine brush, glimmer brush, and we're going to do kind of the same thing. And it just gives it a little bit different look than, and I'll hold it up closer to the camera so that you can see it. It gives it just a little bit different look than the Wink of Stella. I realized I haven't used these very much since I got them. They really are pretty cool. So I'll hold that up so that you can kind of see that. See how it gives it just a little bit more dimension. It gives it color as well as glitter. And you might not see the glitter as well as I can see it here. All right, we're going to layer these and then I'm going to cut those apart and stick them in where I want. So I'm going to start with the biggest ones. So these two are the biggest one. I put the one with 4 petals at the bottom. And then I'm just going to take a glue dot. This is where having my take your pick tool here would be really nice, but it's not. I'm going to put a glue dot there in the center. I'm just going to put this so that I can kind of fill in some empty spaces. All right, I'm going to take another glue dot. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to do this. I couldn't find a right or wrong way. I tried looking at pictures and I'm like, oh, is that the right way or is this the right way? I really don't think there is a right or a wrong way. I just kept trying to fill in spaces that weren't as full. All right, and then we'll put the last one on before our little yellow piece. And we'll put this in the middle. I'm just taking a glue dot and putting it right in the center and then sticking the next thing right on top of it. Right, so there's our poinsettia. Easy peasy, right? I'm going to go ahead and cut these apart. Oh, maybe I can keep those two together. How does this look like that? Oh, look at that. That looks perfect. We're just going to go ahead and put a glue dot right there. Whoops. I should have my silicone mat and not a piece of paper. Where did I have that? Right here, I think. There we go. And we'll take one of these and put it, I think, in that spot because it looks kind of empty there. All right. Look at that. I'm going to pop that up right about there with some dimensionals. So of the two cards, this is probably the easier of the two, less putsy. I could cut all 4 of those poinsettia layers out one time through my embossing folder or my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So it's not like I had to do every single one by itself. So that was kind of nice. I have some rhinestones here. We'll go ahead and put one of these little ones, kind of a newer sheet here. Put one there, and then we'll put a medium-sized one and a large one up along the top. And there is that second Christmas card with that poinsettia. So Christmas joy, bright Christmas wishes. So you got a chance to see the poinsettia stamped and also with it cut out and layered. So whatever you think would be easier, you could cut a couple of these out. You could stamp and die cut those out, or just stamp them, you know, like stamp a couple of times and die cut one and layer a bunch of them. So that is my second card. That is my Christmas in July. Now there's one other, like I said, there's one other Christmas bundle in there that I did not, and there's another stamp set. I didn't get that stamp set. But I did get the other bundle, and I just did not get a chance to make a card with it yet. So that is called Pretty Poinsettia Dies and Stamp Set. All right, that is it for my cards today. But I do have the Stampin' Hot foil system that I thought I would just show you how this works, because some people are like, what in the world is this? I know some of the demonstrators were like, I don't get like what it is or what it does. So this works in conjunction with our Stampin' Cut machine. Now some of you might still have the Big Shot. If you ruin something, like if you use your Big Shot with this and you use this and you damage it, Stampin' Up! Will not stand behind it. It is made to go with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Will it work in the Big Shot? I don't know. And I don't want to tell you, well, buy it and try it, because it is pretty expensive and that would be a waste of money. But I wanted to show you, and same thing, like if you use other plates or do anything like that and use it, you could ruin it if you don't use the proper things. So I thought I would start. These are all the things that comes. It comes with comes with this silicone mat and this silicone mat. All right. Here's the machine itself. And it comes with a plug that you plug in, and then there's one that goes to the machine. Now, I'm not sure why there's this big battery thing here, other than I know we're going to a bunch of different markets. It does not work with the Big Shot. That's what I thought. Okay, so Kimberly's saying it does not work with the Big Shot. When they did the video a couple weeks ago, they said we wouldn't guarantee it. And so I wanted to make sure you say that. I heard somewhere that it could possibly, but that they would not try it. So I just went ahead and plugged that in. You can see that that turned green. And I am going to go ahead, and there's just a little thing on the side, and I plug that in. I want to get it started, but I'm going to walk through all of the instructions with you. So it shows that you have the foil platform, which is this. This is going to get hot. That's why I have it on the silicone. We have our power cord, the silicone platform station. We have the hot foil shim, and they even say this right on here. So this one is called the shim, and then this one is called the hot foil spacer. So there's a shim and there's a spacer. This is called the silicone cooling pad. And then we have our magnetic pickup tool. So this will pick up your dies when they're on your machine. So I'm going to go through step by step so you can see how easy this really is. Place the hot foil platform on the silicone platform station. Okay, so there's my silicone. Here's my platform. Plug the power cord into the platform. The magnetic plug will snap into place, and it did. The platform beeps, and all lights briefly flash. During heating, which takes approximately 6 minutes, the white timer, which is right here, stays lit, and the red light flashes. You can kind of see that happening. When the platform is ready to use, it beeps again, and the red light stays solid, and the white timer button flashes. So we're going to stay here and wait for this. We're going to wait for this to start flashing. Okay, so when the white flashes, it means you're going to have to push that to time how long your your foil has to be on here. But this is getting hot already. It does say caution, it's a hot surface. Okay, and the red light is going to stay solid when this ends up flashing. Okay, so they're going to flip-flop. Now, what do you need in order to, whoops, I just dropped something. So this is what our foil looks like. It comes in these packages. There's 3 different colors. Okay, Debbie said it will not work with others, as it is made for Stampin' Cut and Emboss. Exactly. And that's what they said that day. They said, this is made for Stampin' Cut and Emboss. We cannot stand behind if you try it on something else. So I wouldn't try it on anything else, because it was made for that. Okay, so I have the gold and the silver. The pink is in my cart, but I haven't gotten it yet. When you open this up, you have 2 rolls. You get 2 rolls of foil. It is very thin. Okay, it's super thin. And you can see there's a shiny side, and then there's like the duller, the back side. So this is the front side. This is the foil side. So when it tells you to put it foil side down, that's the side you're going to want to put down. I have found as I've been using it that I cut this with my trimmer. I just stick it right underneath my trimmer and I cut it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my trimmer in here and show you how easy this is. I'm working around this hot plate, so bear with me here. I'm going to maybe set this off to the side a little bit, give myself a little bit of room. Okay, and move the cord over here a little bit. I'm going to slide this underneath here, just like that. I'm going to go to about 6 inches and cut that off. You could cut it with the scissors, doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to use gold today in the sample that I'm doing. There's also silver and there's also pink. I don't have the pink, like I said. All right, so that is the foil, and you will find this in my Stampin' Up! Store. If you go to the newest products are released, this was just released today. So you could not get this unless you were a demonstrator. You could not get it before today. And it is limited as to how much you can get. So right now, you can only get 1 gold. You can get 1 silver. You can get 1 of everything. You can't get anything more than that for right now. I don't know when you will be able to get more of it. I didn't look that closely at it. I apologize for that. All right, so some of our dies, so these are going to be new dies that will be called hot foil dies. Now the butterfly one is the first one that I received and the one that I played with already. You can see, oh my goodness, there's like so much. What's what? So when you open it up, I think you can kind of see with this one especially, this die right here looks very different from what our other dies look like. So this one has an open space. This one's kind of filled in. When you feel it, like this one feels like there's a blade on it, over here. This one does not feel that way. It's very flat. And then the color of them are even different. This is kind of like I don't even know how to, this is kind of shiny and this is a little bit duller. The one that's dull, the one that's filled in like this is the one that you're going to use with your foil. This right here will cut out the butterflies that we foil. So this particular one has 2 different types. It has ones that you use with the foil, and it has ones that you can cut out what you do with the foil. Okay, so that's the butterfly one. This one is the same thing. Whoops, this one's just a stamp set that goes with one of them. Okay, so here we have all of the words will be foiled, and then this will cut out all of those words. All right, and then this stamp set goes with it. But this doesn't have, that's just a stamp set. It's not the hot foil. All right, this is the one that I was going to use in place of the red. I thought of using this with the gold. So I may redo that card and do it with gold and show you what it looks like. Oh, it just beeped. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead to the next thing. That was fast. All right, so right now my timer is flashing and I'm red. So I'm going to go to the next thing. It says place the die flat side down on the platform. I was going to use this one today. This one is probably my favorite. This one's called Garden Silhouette. Okay, so put it flat side down. And then it says, once you do that, the platform beeps in the yellow. Okay, so, and press the white timer. It says the platform beeps and the yellow light flashes. It's flashing. while the die heats up. And this is approximately going to take 1.5 minutes. Okay, so I can put this in here so you can see what it looks like again. And the die now is heating up. So I'm just going to leave that while it heats up. And I don't want to get my directions mixed up here. Oh, shoot. All right, and it says, when ready, the platform beeps again, the green light turns on, and the lights will be lit. So I'm just going to wait for it to beep, and I'm going to wait for the green light to be lit. And then we'll go on to the next instructions. All right, so here's a couple of other things. So we've got this one is going to make gold leaves, and we've got some words. Celebrate thinking of you, and then these dies will cut those out. Okay, so that gives you an idea of, get this here. One of the things that they mentioned when I watched the video online is that when they first came out and showed us how to use it and stuff, they mentioned that you do get a better result if you use two-toned cardstock. Now, some of you might be like, well, now I've got to go buy two-toned cardstock. No, you don't have to buy like a whole pack of every color. Oops, here we go. All right. See, this is a little bit faster. So now it says we need to build our sandwich by placing these items on the die in this order. The foil, shiny side down. So I'm going to put the foil on here, shiny side down. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my cardstock. So I'm using two-toned Blackberry Bliss. And then it says the cardstock, hot foil shim. So I'm going to look, here is my shim. Then my spacer. So I'm going to put the spacer. And then it says unplug this. I'm going to unplug it. I'm going to grab this and I'm going to bring my Big Shot in here. Okay. Keep setting it down on things that are sticky. Unplug the cord from the platform. Carefully remove it from the silicone platform station. Keep the sandwich stable to prevent foil transfer. Place it on the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and slowly run it through without reversing. And I put slowly because they said that is the key. Normally, when I die cut very fast. You want to go very slow as you're putting this through the machine. And when I die cut, I often die cut one way and I take my handle and I reverse it and I go back the other way. You do not want to do that when you're using this foiling machine. You want it to go just one way and one way only. How did I get some Stampin' Dimensionals on there? Good Lord. I have no idea. Stampin' Dimensionals are all over in my place, and I can see two of them sitting up there. Okay, so we're going to remove these. And now what we want to do, and you are going to get some foil, and that's okay. It doesn't damage it. We are going to, and I'm going to put this back on this right now. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to peel back the foil. And now I have a background that's all foiled. Isn't that beautiful? I would think this color would be really pretty with the pink foil as well. Right now, if you had one of the ones that had like the butterflies, you could cut those butterflies out. If you wanted to, you could use some of our designer paper that has like watercolor in and put the butterflies in here and they'd all be colored in. The reason that they wanted us to use the two-tone is because the center of our two-tone is white and it gives a truer color than our other cardstock. And that's why that is why they mentioned that we should use it, the two-tone. I was starting to mention that with all of our suites of products, you can usually, and I'm going to get to the page where this is in the catalog to show you. With all of our suites of products, they normally have a two-toned cardstock pack, so you don't have to buy a whole pack of one color. So in our current catalog, which is May through September, on page, or May through August, May, June, July, August, May through August, on page 67, you have, this is the heirloom. It has two-tone cardstock. This is all the in color, or the new in colors. This one has 2 sheets of Real Red, Flirty Flamingo, Petal Pink, Daffodil Delight, Lost Lagoon, Pool Party. Okay, so this is acid and linen free, and it's supposed to be better. Supposed to be better for this foil system, is what they told us. I don't remember all of the reasons why, but there we go. All right, what your magnet tool is for is, because this is hot, I can't pick this up right now. So if I pick this up, I can get this off there. And then when I want to release it, you just push the button in. This one's kind of heavy. Doesn't really lift it up. The butterfly one, it lifts it all the way up, and I can get it off the thing. And then that releases it. So isn't that cool? And they'll be coming out with more stuff. Two-tone is smoother. It is, Kelly. It's much smoother. And it says it gives the best results. Yep, it does give the best results. So that's why I use the two-tone. Now, you're supposed to be able to use this and put it back on there. I haven't tried that yet. All right, so what do you think? Are you excited about this? When it first came out, Kathy and I talked when they said they were coming out with something new. I said, I'm not buying something new. I'm not going to be getting this. And then I saw the video and they had me hooked, and I was like, that's really cool. So I ended up getting it. I ended up using some of my Stampin' Rewards and got it that way. But the instructions are very clear. This is not highlighted in there. I highlighted it because when I went and read it, I'm like, oh, I remember when they did their video, they emphasized that a lot, that you should run it through very slowly and that you should not reverse it. And so I made sure that I went in and highlighted that, so that if it's not something I use all the time and I forget what order I have to put things in, it's okay. And just like our other machines can get a little bit, oops, that was a glue dot with that. You can get, sometimes the foil might run over and get onto your sheet, and that is okay. It's not going to come off. Like, they had one of the sheets there and they're like, oh, this, it doesn't hurt anything. It's just going to be on there. Kind of like when you get black ink staining your stamps. It doesn't hurt your stamps. It might not be the nicest thing to look at, but it doesn't hurt it. Or with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, that cutting plate, when you put your dies through, they get all marked up. It doesn't hurt it. It's just what it is. So that is the new hot foil system. Oh, that was a lot. Well, it's still only 3:30. I only still wasn't, or no, 3:15. Not even 3:30. I told my mom it's probably going to take me till 3:30 because I'm going to show them how to use the new machine today. And it might take a little while because it's supposed to take about 6 minutes to heat that up, but it heated up pretty fast. Let me come back to you. Here I am. All right. Lots of you have jumped off, which is okay. I know some people don't want to see some of the new stuff. They're not interested in that kind of stuff. They just want to see the stamping, or they're demonstrators and they've seen it already. So I hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. I will be back again next Thursday instead of Friday, God willing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next week. If you have any suggestions or have something you'd like to see, I'll try to do at least one fun fold, because I didn't do a fun fold at all today. I probably should bring my cards back in here for you to take a look at. I don't know which one I did in class and which one. I think this is the one I did live. So we got that one. And we have that one today. Christmas in July. Whoops. I'm not even on there. You can't even see them. Here we go. There are our cards again. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll maybe try to do something else. I'll do maybe one of the foils where you have to do the foil and then cut it after so you can see like how that works. It's actually pretty easy, but sometimes people like to see all of the steps. So this was just the foil part of it. Then afterwards, some of them have dies that you can actually cut out, and maybe we'll make even a card, a full card with it. I'll have it heated up and all ready for us, or at least plug it in right when we get started so it's ready to go when we're ready to start stamping. All right, thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend. And again, I'll see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.